Hey guys, Josh Cluff with HS Precision. Beautiful fall morning here in South Dakota. I'm really excited for today. What we've got out here is we have our brand new PLR and 7mm PRC. This one is topped with a Zwarovski Z8 with a flex turret. So I am actually getting ready to go to California for a blacktail hunt. So in the great state of California, they only allow monolithic or copper, solid copper. So this actual ammunition in the 7 PRC, I've shot 7 PRC for the last several months. I shot an elk with it last month. Absolutely love the cartridge. But I have not shot this 160 grain CX bullet yet. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to true this gun up, I'm going to true the ammo, make sure everything's lining up perfectly. So with this flex turret on here, this is in mils. I prefer running in mils. It's strictly a personal preference. I do not have a PBC set up for it. So what I'm actually going to do is run all of the dope from a hunting situation in the Zwarovski TA binos. So the TA with the tracking assist has built-in ballistics. I have programmed it, downloaded the app, set all of my ballistics information directly into the binos, link them together. So what I do from a truing standpoint, I'm getting this gun set up for my personal use. So this is a way of doing things. You may find a way that suits you better. But I personally don't run PBRs because in this specific case, just like this, we now have switched projectiles. So I've got to order another one. I just prefer running the dope from a hunting solution in the binos. So what I do to true it, I have got a target out here. The first target, I should clarify, I've already checked 0 in there and I've got the velocities. So because it's a new cartridge, ammunition is coming, it's getting readily available, but I don't have a whole lot of ammo. So what I've done is I have one box of the 160 grain CX outfitter ammunition, but I also have some 160 grain projectiles. So I've worked up load development that still shoots very, very well, but around the same velocities. So going out there, we have opportunity to shoot hogs and a bunch of stuff, and also truing the gun when I get there. One box of ammo might not be enough because I'm not a very good shot and I like to shoot a lot. So I have some hand loads, I have some factory, both running very equivalently for the same speeds. They're right at 3,030 feet per second on average. So what I've got here, what I like to do as far as truing is I run the Hornady 4DOF app on my phone just because it's easy, it's simple, and one of the most user-friendly apps. I've also got it linked to a Kestrel, so I'm capturing all the environmental conditions. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to true this gun up to my phone app to make sure everything's lined. If I need to change velocities or BC points or anything like that, I'll make those fine-tuned adjustments, and then I'll correspond it and relate it back to the binos. So my goal with this is to make sure I'm obviously impacting the target, but my data and my ballistic solution on my phone matches exactly what I have in the binos. So for example purposes, I have this first target, it's 567 yards. I arranged it with the binos. My ballistic solution or my dope on that is 2.68. In the phone itself is 2.67. So I'm going to round both of those up to 2.7. So I'm going to start here on this first target, 567, make sure everything lines up and see exactly where I hit. Okay, impact, that was pretty center. Normally, I would run out and paint the targets, but I'm kind of under time constraint right now. So it's a fairly small target, about an 8-inch circle out there. So I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna try and find another target to range and check it at further distances. All right, so now we found another target out there. We've got a coyote, 740 yards. So I'm gonna go back in, I've ranged it with my binos. My bino said for 4.09, so I'm gonna round up to 4.1. My Hornady 4DOF app on there is 4.07. So I'm within 0.2 of a mil, if that makes sense. It doesn't really make sense, but in my mind it makes sense. So basically both of those I'm gonna round up to 4.1. So everything's lining up perfectly so far at those particular distances. So I'm gonna shoot this one. Got a coyote at 740. right, that's pretty darn center. Elevation-wise, good. We do have a little bit of left to right wind. So when I'm truing that, that's another important facet, is I always want to make sure I have my wind deflection in there, because that will change my vertical or my elevation change. Right now, there's just a very slight left to right wind at about 2 to 3 miles an hour. So it's actually a beautiful day. I'm not going to really worry. That's not going to affect my flight path on my elevation change much. So I'll calculate a little bit for the wind so that I'm more centered up on the target, but that's good. Let's find another target. Okay, so now we have our third target in there. The first 2 targets were 2 for 2. We're getting pretty lucky because I'm generally not that good of a shot, so we haven't had any edits or anything like that. So this next target we have is 967. So with the 967, with the binos, we ranged. We've got our, obviously our range, and now we've got our dope. The binos is calling for 6.14, okay? My ballistic app on my forward off is calling for 6.12. So again, they're lining up very, very well. So obviously I'm gonna dial to 6.1. I'll give that one a shot here. Take one last look at the wind. The wind has picked up a little bit now. I'm gonna say it's probably closer to 5 miles an hour. So I'm gonna hold a little wind on this one. Oh, and so I missed. So we might have to edit that one, but we'll leave it in anyway. So it was, wind picked up a little more than I thought. I missed just off to the right. So I'm gonna hold a little more wind. Elevation looked good. Still just a little off right. I'm gonna hold a little more wind. There we go. So elevation wise, everything's still lining up really good. And again, this is the way I prefer to do things. If you want to run a PBC, you want to run a Kestrel, phone app, whatever it is that you decide to do that you're most comfortable with, that's great, and we highly support that. But before you go on a big hunt and you get ready, go out and make sure you true everything up, make sure it's lined up, spend some time, practice, be more confident in the field. Happy hunting, boom shakalaka.